Elizabeth Taylor. More than just a movie star, she was a global icon, a force of nature known for her breathtaking beauty, her incredible talent, and a life lived large. But beyond the Oscars, the diamonds, and the famous romances, she was a mother to 4 children. What was it like growing up as the son or daughter of Elizabeth Taylor? Imagine being a child in the shadow of one of the most famous women of the 20th century, admired by millions, followed relentlessly by the press, and living in the glare of Hollywood's golden age. For Elizabeth's children, life meant both privilege and pressure, love and loss, as they tried to navigate their own identities while the world watched their mother. She had 4 children: Michael Wilding Jr., Christopher Wilding, Liza Todd, and Maria Burton, each of whom chose a very different path. Some embraced art, others film, some pursued a quiet life away from the spotlight. Yet all of them carry the weight and sometimes the burden of being Elizabeth Taylor's child. Let's step into their stories one by one and discover what became of Elizabeth Taylor's kids. Number 4. Michael Wilding Jr. Michael Wilding Jr. was born on January 6, 1953, in Santa Monica, California. His mother was the legendary Elizabeth Taylor, and his father, British actor Michael Wilding Sr., was 20 years her senior. For Elizabeth, her marriage to Michael Sr., 1952 to 1957, represented a brief moment of calm amidst a life often defined by storm and spectacle. It seemed almost inevitable that Michael Jr. would try acting. In the 1980s, he took roles on popular TV series such as Dallas, where he appeared as Alex Barton, and Guiding Light, where he played Jackson Fremont. He also acted in the thriller Deadly Illusion. Reporters frequently remarked on his striking resemblance to his mother, not only his facial structure, but especially the deep, haunting quality of his eyes. Many noted that he had inherited Elizabeth Taylor's world-famous violet eyes, a feature that lent him an undeniable screen presence. Yet Michael Jr.'s Hollywood chapter was brief. He soon realized that his true calling lay not in front of the camera, but in the stillness of a sculptor's studio. In 1991, he moved to Santa Fe, New Mexico, an international hub for the arts, and dedicated himself to stone sculpting. He described his work as a conversation with stone, seeking to reveal hidden forms by removing the unnecessary. His sculptures, often abstract, are crafted from materials like civic marble bronze and limestone. Critics have praised his ability to combine strength and delicacy. One review in a Santa Fe art journal described his bronzes as silent meditations on endurance, while a fellow artist remarked that his pieces seemed to hold the desert wind within their contours. His works have been exhibited internationally, with highlights including shows at the Wilding Cran Gallery in Los Angeles, co-founded by his daughter Naomi. These exhibitions not only cemented his standing in the art world, but also represented a generational bridge, father and daughter united through art. On the personal front, Michael Jr. married Beth Clutter in 1970, with whom he had a daughter, Layla Wilding, before divorcing. He later had a daughter, Naomi, with Johanna Like Dawn, and in 1982 married actress Brooke Palance, daughter of the famous actor Jack Palance. Together they had a son, Tarquin Wilding. Despite different mothers, his children reportedly maintained a warm and close relationship with their grandmother, Elizabeth Taylor. The bond between mother and son was evident in pivotal moments. When Taylor wed Larry Fortensky in 1991, it was Michael Jr. who proudly walked her down the aisle. He also expressed deep admiration for her after her passing in 2011, releasing a heartfelt statement. "My mother was an extraordinary woman who lived life to the fullest. We will always be inspired by her enduring contribution to our world." He praised not only her acting and business acumen, but above all, her relentless activism in the fight against HIV/AIDS. That legacy is now carried forward by his children. Naomi serves as an ambassador for the Elizabeth Taylor AIDS Foundation. Tarquin has spoken publicly about honoring his grandmother's generosity, and Layla has contributed to awareness campaigns. Michael Jr. himself prefers privacy, but through his art and through his family's advocacy, his life continues to echo the values his mother championed. Number 3. Christopher Wilding. Born on February 27, 1955 in Los Angeles, Christopher's parents divorced when he was just 2. Like his brother, much of his youth was spent in Europe. As Elizabeth Taylor tried to shield her children from what Christopher called the circus of her fame, he recalled paparazzi often outside their home. Despite her efforts, the circus was hard to escape. Christopher remembered being at boarding school and reading magazines to keep up with his mother's life like Annie Fan, and enduring unpleasant taunts from classmates about his mother's public relationships. While born to two famous actors, Christopher carved his niche primarily behind the scenes. He worked extensively as a sound editor and assistant director. His credits include assistant sound editor on films like Tombstone 1993 and Overboard 1987. He's also credited on The Shadow 1994, where he also had an acting role, Judgment Night in 1993 and Loverboy 1889. This focus suggests a choice to engage with film on his own terms, driven by craft rather than celebrity. Christopher has also been identified as a photographer, though specifics are less public. He is now reported to be retired. Christopher Wilding has mostly kept his personal life private. His first marriage was to Aileen Getty of the Getty oil family on August 26, 1981. They had two sons, Caleb Wilding, born 1983, adopted, and Andrew Wilding, born 1984. They divorced in the late 1980s. He later married Margaret Margie Carlton, also respected in the film industry for her sound work. They have a son, Lowell Wilding, born 1992. As of 2016, Christopher was reportedly living with Margaret in Calabasas, California. For many years, Christopher remained private about his mother. More recently, he has offered poignant insights. He told The Hollywood Reporter, "She was so beautiful, some people tended to overlook her great acting chops and believed if she were around today, she'd be most pleased with her philanthropic work." He's also been candid about fame's challenges. In the BBC docuseries, Elizabeth Taylor Rebel Superstar, he recalled media frenzy around Taylor's romance with Richard Burton as a drag and spoke of unpleasant taunts at boarding school. He revealed his mother later expressed regret about not being a great mom, to which Christopher empathically responded, "But I felt like she was a good mother. It wasn't easy to do." His participation in this docu-series, reportedly his first TV interview about his mother after decades, is significant. His stark assessment of fame that's a deal with the devil that's really not worth it comes from a lifetime of experience. Christopher Wilding plays a formal role in safeguarding his mother's legacy as a trustee for Elizabeth Taylor's Southern Trust. This involves managing her considerable estate. He and fellow trustees even took legal action against Christie's auction house regarding Taylor's renowned collection. Proceeds from exhibition sales for that auction were earmarked for the Elizabeth Taylor AIDS Foundation, ETA, linking Christopher's trustee role to continuing his mother's vital philanthropic work. Number 2. Liza Todd. Born on August 6, 1957, in New York City. Her birth was a celebrated event, even her modest birth weight making headlines. Life magazine featured baby Liza with her iconic mother on its cover. She was the only child of Liz Taylor and Mike Todd. Tragically, when Liza was just 7 months old, Mike Todd died in a plane crash on March 22, 1958. This horrible loss, from which Liz reportedly never recovered profoundly, shaped Liza's childhood. After Mike Todd's death, Eddie Fisher became Liza's first stepfather. Then came Richard Burton, who not only married Liz, but also legally adopted Liza. Their bond was reportedly deep. Liza called Burton Dad, reserving father for Mike Todd. Liz often said Burton was the best stepfather ever. Liza pursued a rigorous art education, attending a boarding school in Switzerland. Then the Horny College of Art in London, and later the Otis Art Institute in Los Angeles. Known professionally as Liza Todd TV, she became a respected sculptor, celebrated for her equine and animal pieces, lauded for their anatomical accuracy and empathy. She found her voice in bronze, creating sculptures that capture the true nature of her subjects. Her notable commissions include bronzes of legendary race horses like Secretariat, a memorial for Nashua, and a life-size calf for Gstaad, Switzerland, a cherished family spot. Her work is internationally acclaimed, appearing in galleries and auctions with realized prices ranging from $300 to $2,500. Liza Todd has steadfastly prioritized privacy, In 1984, she married Hap Tai. They had two sons, Quinn Tai and Reese Tai, before divorcing in 2003. Liza resides in upstate New York, living a quiet life surrounded by animals. She reportedly rarely, if ever, mentions her famous lineage and made a decision early on never to be part of her mother's world. Despite her private life, Liza spent time on her mother's film sets as a child. Elizabeth Taylor noted Liza inherited many of Mike Todd's gestures and vitality. While Liza's direct public involvement with the Elizabeth Taylor AIDS Foundation or the House of Taylor managing her mother's estate isn't prominent, her branch of the family is deeply engaged through her son Quinn Tai. Quinn is a trustee of the House of Taylor and a vital force in ETAF committed to furthering his grandmother's activism. He speaks eloquently about her impact, emphasizing that to him, she was simply grandma. Liza's other son, Reed Tai, a musician, has also been recognized by it. Liza's approach seems to be one of private stewardship, empowering the next generation to carry the public philanthropic torch. Number 1. Maria Burton Carson. Born in Munich, Germany, around August 1, 1961. The identities of her biological parents remain unknown. Elizabeth Taylor initiated Maria's adoption reportedly when Maria was 3, possibly while still married to Eddie Fisher. After Taylor married Richard Burton, he also legally adopted Maria. Maria's early childhood was marked by significant health challenges, a congenital hip condition requiring nearly 24 surgeries. Taylor famously said, "I want her all the more because she's ill. Maybe I can do something to help," showing her deep compassion. Both Taylor and Burton were devoted to Maria's medical care. Being raised by them meant a whirlwind life of global travel and constant media attention. Maria embraced her creative side through fashion design. Perhaps more significantly, she and her first husband, Steve Carson, co-owned the Carson organization Liza Todd, a boutique talent agency. This venture showed a nuanced engagement with the entertainment industry behind the scenes, in a position of agency. Reports also describe Maria as a philanthropist, a spirit reminiscent of her mother's well-documented advocacy. While specific details of her own high-profile involvement are less publicized, her daughter Eliza Carson is an ambassador for the Elizabeth Taylor AIDS Foundation, ETA, carrying her grandmother's legacy forward. Maria has been married twice. Her first husband was Daniel Steve Carson, whom she married in 1981. They divorced in 2000 after 19 years and had a daughter, Elizabeth Eliza Carson, born 1982. In 2002, Maria married Tom McCunn. They had a son, Richard Mackin, reportedly born 2001 and also later divorced. A defining feature of Maria's motherhood has been her determined effort to raise her children away from the prying eyes of the media, a direct response to her own upbringing. While largely private, Maria has made occasional public appearances for family legacy events, such as Taylor's 75th birthday and accepting Richard Burton's posthumous star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Maria Burton Carson's life is a testament to forging an independent identity while connected to an almost overwhelmingly famous lineage. Each navigated the immense weight and privilege of their heritage in their own way. Number 1. Maria Burton. Carson's life was in many ways the most complex among Elizabeth Taylor's children. Born in Munich, Germany on August 1, 1961, Maria was adopted by Elizabeth Taylor when she was a toddler. Later, Richard Burton, during his marriage to Elizabeth, also legally adopted her. This gave Maria not only a famous surname, but also a place in one of Hollywood's most talked-about families. Maria's childhood was marked by serious health challenges. She suffered from a congenital hip abnormality that required over a dozen surgeries throughout her youth. Elizabeth Taylor once said about Maria, "I want her all the more because she is ill. Maybe I can do something to help." Both Taylor and Burton were fiercely protective of her, ensuring she had access to the best doctors and medical care available. Despite her fragile health, Maria grew up traveling with her parents, often surrounded by the whirlwind of press attention, red carpets, and international life. While her siblings leaned toward film photography or sculpture, Maria explored fashion design and the business side of entertainment. Alongside her first husband, Steve Carson, she co-founded a boutique talent agency called the Carson Organization, working more behind the scenes than in front of cameras. Friends often described her as someone who valued independence and quiet resilience qualities she may have cultivated as a way to carve out her own identity under the immense shadow of Elizabeth Taylor's fame. Maria married Daniel Steve Carson in 1981, and together they had a daughter, Elizabeth Eliza Carson, born in 1982. Eliza was very close to her grandmother, and today serves as an ambassador for the Elizabeth Taylor AIDS Foundation, continuing her grandmother's philanthropic legacy. After divorcing Steve Carson in 2000, Maria remarried in 2002 to Tom McCune, with whom she had a son, Richard McCune, born in 2001. That marriage too later ended in divorce. Through both relationships, Maria prioritized raising her children with stability and away from constant media exposure, something she herself never had as a child. Maria was known to be very close to Elizabeth Taylor. Though not always in the public eye, she frequently attended family gatherings and milestone events such as Elizabeth's 75th birthday and the posthumous honors for Richard Burton. Insiders have noted that Maria inherited her mother's deep compassion and sensitivity toward others, even if she expressed it in more private ways. Maria has largely withdrawn from public life. Unlike her siblings, she rarely gives interviews or appears in documentaries. Her children, particularly Eliza Carson, have taken on the role of representing the family in philanthropic and legacy-related events. Maria herself is said to live quietly, cherishing her role as a mother and grandmother. Her life story is perhaps less glamorous than others in the Taylor-Burton dynasty, but it highlights a recurring theme: strength and privacy. While her mother commanded the spotlight, Maria chose to cultivate a world defined by family art and healing, a world that allowed her to be more than just Elizabeth Taylor's daughter.